The brain of an overthinker is like a city that never sleeps. Every light stays on, every street buzzing with what-ifs and maybes. When you overthink, your brain activates a network called the default mode network, the part that runs when you're not focused on anything specific. This network connects your memory, imagination, and self-reflection, and it's powerful. It's what allows humans to plan the future, replay the past, and dream about possibilities. But when this system stays active for too long, it becomes a mental echo chamber. Your thoughts loop endlessly between what happened and what might happen. The prefrontal cortex, the part that handles logic, keeps asking for more data. Meanwhile, the emotional center, the amygdala, keeps sounding the alarm. You end up with two parts of your brain fighting over control. Logic versus fear. And this tug of war burns your mental energy like a phone with too many apps running in the background. That's why overthinkers often feel physically tired, even if they've done nothing all day. Scientific studies from Stanford and Cambridge have shown that chronic overthinking increases activity in the posterior cingulate cortex, the same region linked to anxiety and depression. Your brain becomes addicted to solving problems that don't exist, just for the illusion of control. It's like scratching an itch that only grows the more you touch it. The more you think, the more uncertain you feel, and the more you think again, trapped in a cycle that feeds itself. Here's a simple example. Imagine you send a message to someone, and they don't reply for hours. You tell yourself, they're probably busy. But 10 minutes later, your brain whispers, what if they're ignoring me? Then, what if I said something wrong? Then, what if they hate me now? One unanswered text turns into 1,000 imagined tragedies. That's overthinking, a survival instinct misfiring in the modern world. And the scary part? The more you do it, the better your brain gets at it. It literally rewires itself to make overthinking your default state. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Every time you replay an old worry, your brain strengthens the connection that says, this is important. Keep thinking about it, but here's the light in the dark. If your brain can wire itself into overthinking, it can unwire itself too. You can train it to rest, to focus, to let go. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. The hidden, science-backed ways to break the cycle and finally breathe again. We often imagine overthinking as chaos, a storm of thoughts, impossible to stop. But in truth, it's more like a defense system. Your brain isn't trying to hurt you. It's trying to protect you from uncertainty. You see, the human brain is obsessed with prediction. It constantly tries to simulate the future, like a chess player, planning move after move. And when it doesn't have enough data, it fills the gaps with worry. That's what overthinking really is, the brain's desperate attempt to control the unknown. But here's the paradox. The more you try to control, the less control you actually have, because every what-if you imagine opens 10 more. Every analysis creates another question, and before you know it, you're drowning in your own logic. Let's talk about what's really happening inside. Neuroscience tells us that overthinking lights up the prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain. It's the same region responsible for problem-solving, decision-making, and planning. In moderation, it's a gift, but when overactivated, it becomes a prison, locking you inside endless loops of should I or shouldn't I? And then the amygdala joins in, the emotional center. It detects the uncertainty and signals danger. So your brain thinks you're under threat, not from a tiger, but from your own thoughts. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tighten. You replay conversations, scenarios, possibilities, as if thinking more could somehow erase the fear. This is why overthinking feels physical. It's not just mental noise, it's a full-body response. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between imagining a problem and facing one in real life. That's why you feel exhausted, even when you've done nothing at all. So how do you stop it? You don't, at least not by force. You can't outthink overthinking. You can only outfeel it, because the solution isn't in logic, it's in awareness. When you notice your mind spiraling, try this. Don't fight the thought. Label it. Say, "This is my brain trying to protect me." That tiny moment of awareness breaks the cycle. It reminds your nervous system that there's no real threat, just noise. And sometimes that's all it takes. Not silence, not escape, just understanding. What if I told you that overthinking isn't always the enemy? That the same mental storm that keeps you awake at night can also be the source of your greatest clarity. You see, the line between overthinking and deep thinking isn't in the number of thoughts, but in the direction they're moving. Overthinking circles around the same fear. Deep thinking digs down, through the fear, to find the truth beneath it. Let's imagine your mind like a maze. Most people get lost. They walk in circles, tracing the same walls of what if. But some, they learn to map the maze. They notice the patterns, the emotional traps, the recurring doubts, and they start drawing a way out. That's when overthinking becomes metacognition, thinking about your own thinking. It's not rumination anymore. It's self-awareness. It's you observing the storm instead of being inside it. Neuroscience backs this up. When you shift from reacting to observing, your brain activates the anterior cingulate cortex, the region responsible for emotional regulation and insight. You literally change your brain's chemistry from chaos to clarity. That's why journaling helps. That's why meditation works. That's why walking in silence, without your phone, without distraction, feels like a reset button. Because you're moving from thinking to processing. The next time you catch yourself spiraling, don't say, "I need to stop overthinking." Say, "I'm exploring my thoughts just too fast." Then slow it down. Write it out. Name what you feel. And suddenly the fog starts to clear. Think of your thoughts like a river. You can't stop it from flowing, but you can learn to swim with the current. Let it move. Let it carry the fear downstream. You're not drowning. You're learning to float. Because at its core, overthinking is just thinking without compassion. It's intelligence without kindness toward yourself. And once you add kindness, awareness, stillness, what used to feel like chaos becomes understanding. That's how you begin to master it, not by silencing your mind, but by befriending it. Let's talk about the hardest part of overthinking. The moment when you finally realize you can't control everything. You can plan. You can analyze. You can think through every possible outcome. But life has a way of reminding you that uncertainty is its favorite language. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means making peace with what's beyond your reach. It means trusting that you've done enough, and that whatever happens next, you'll find a way through it. In psychology, this is called cognitive detachment. It's the ability to step back, see the problem from a distance, and realize that your thoughts aren't facts. They're just stories your mind tells to feel safe. And here's the truth. You'll never stop thinking, but you can choose the quality of your thoughts. You can decide whether they drain you or guide you. This starts by asking yourself one question. Is this thought helping me or holding me? If it's helping, keep it. If it's holding, thank it and let it pass. That's not denial. That's growth. That's the shift from mental chaos to emotional clarity. Because the truth is, peace doesn't come when the noise stops. Peace comes when you stop reacting to it. Imagine waking up tomorrow with a quieter mind. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You learned to breathe between thoughts. You learned that silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. And someday, when life gets loud again, because it will, you'll remember this. You don't need to escape your mind. You just need to understand it. Tonight, before you go to bed, don't try to silence your mind. Just say, I hear you. I know you're scared, but I'm safe now. Because that's the real hidden science of overthinking. It's not about controlling your mind. It's about learning to love it.